Welcome to Experiment Scary. No one expected that woman would become the most terrifying creature in the city. A narrow Brooklyn alley, 11 at night. The streetlights flickered like dying hearts. Smoke from underground vents rose slowly, carrying an inexplicable stench, a mix of garbage, rotting meat, and something older than the city itself. Among the towering red brick buildings, shadows moved silently. Just a hum, a soft, almost inaudible hum, like a whisper from another world. Her name is Priya Kapoor, 23 years old, a graduate student in entomology at Columbia University. Her face is like a carving from an ancient temple, high cheekbones, almond-sized eyes sparkling with boundless curiosity, lips always curved in a gentle smile. Her jet-black hair, waist-length, is always neatly braided every morning. She came to America 2 years ago on a full scholarship. In Mumbai, she was the youngest child in a conservative Brahmin family. Her father was a professor, her mother a classical music teacher. They never understood Priya's obsession with insects, how she could spend hours observing flies, bees, even cockroaches with such adoring gaze. They are a testament to the perfection of nature, she once told her mother. They were here long before us, and they will be here long after we are gone. Her mother just stroked her head worriedly, as if she knew something was wrong with those words. In New York, Priya lived in a cramped apartment on the Lower East Side. Every night, she walked from campus to her house, passing through the same alleys. She never felt afraid. This big city had become her second home. She knew every corner, every sound, every smell. Or so she thought. That night was different. Priya left the library later than usual. Her dissertation on pheromone communication in Diptera, an order of flies, was nearly finished. She walked briskly, her backpack packed with journals and notes. Her breath puffed in the chill November air. She entered the alley between old apartment buildings, her usual shortcut. Her footsteps echoed on the wet pavement. And then she heard it, a buzz. Subtle, rhythmic, like a song without a melody. Priya paused, her ears sharpened. As an insect researcher, she recognized the sound of flies' wings perfectly, frequency, speed, even species. But this was different, too deep, too focused, too conscious. She glanced back. The alley was empty. Only the shadows of tree branches swayed in the breeze, but the hum continued as if coming from every direction at once, from the walls, from the ground, from the air itself. Her heart began to beat faster. Just the wind, she whispered to herself. But her hand was already gripping the strap of her bag tightly. She continued walking, faster this time. The buzzing followed her. It grew stronger. Now she could feel its vibrations on her skin, in her hair, in her bones, like thousands of tiny wings vibrating in perfect harmony. And then she smelled it. A sweet, rotting smell, like fruit rotting in the sun, like meat left too long in a warm place. His stomach churned, but his feet kept going. Only 10 more meters. His apartment door was visible at the end of the alley. 10 meters. 5 meters. 3 meters. A shadow fell in front of him. A shadow that shouldn't be there. Priya stopped. Her breath caught in her throat. The shadow grew larger. It loomed. Its shape was unnatural, too tall, too thin, with strange lumps on its back that moved like wings. She turned slowly, and there, beneath the flickering streetlight, stood a figure that shouldn't exist in reality. It stood nearly 3 meters tall. Its body was shiny black like chitin, an insect's exoskeleton. But its shape was humanoid. 2 long, human-like legs, 2 arms ending in sharp claws. The head, oh my God, the head. Compound eyes the size of tennis balls. Thousands of tiny lenses that reflected light like prisms. long twitching antennae that tasted the air, and a mouth, not a human mouth, but a long serrated proboscis, like a giant wet pulsating syringe. Behind her, a pair of transparent wings spread wide. Fly wings. But as big as a door. The buzzing came from there, from the vibrations of those wings. Priya couldn't move. She couldn't scream. Her brain refused to process what she was seeing. This was impossible. It wasn't in scientific literature. It wasn't in logic. But the monster was very real. And he stepped closer. Each step made the ground shake. Its claws scraped the asphalt, leaving marks like knives in butter. Its breath, if it could be called breath, came out in a wet hiss that carried a thicker stench. Finally, the voice came from the monster's throat, but it wasn't a single sound. It was like thousands of voices speaking at once, in terrifying harmony. "We've finally found you." Priya took a step back. Her legs were shaking. What? What do you want?" Her voice cracked. The monster tilted its head. Its compound eyes glinted with intelligence, awareness, something far more terrifying than animal confusion. "You," it whispered. "We want you." And then it attacked. It all happened too fast. Priya ran, but the monster was faster. Its wings flapped once, just once, and its massive body hurtled through the air like an organic missile. Its claws reached out, grabbing Priya's arms, lifting her off the ground. She screamed, kicked, clawed, but the grip was like iron. Her bones creaked under the pressure. "Let go! Let me go!" The monster didn't answer. It flew, carrying Priya up to the roof of the building, then down into a large ventilation shaft Priya had never noticed. A dark shaft, a hole that emitted an even louder hum. They descended into darkness. The world above disappeared. The streetlights faded to a pinprick, then vanished altogether. All that remained was darkness, heat, and a growing stench. Priya couldn't stop crying. Tears flowed freely, mixed with sweat and pure fear. They continued to descend. Minutes passed like hours, and then light, an eerie phosphorescent green glow. They arrived in a vast underground chamber. It wasn't a subway tunnel or a city sewer. This was something else. The walls weren't made of concrete or brick, but of a layer of organic wax that pulsed like a heart. A structure like a honeycomb, but as large as a cathedral. And everywhere, on the walls, on the ceiling, on the floor, were flies. Millions of flies. They huddled in strange formations, forming geometric patterns that were painful to look at. Their buzzing created a symphony that made Priya want to rip her own ears off. The monster knocked her to the floor. Priya fell face down, cutting her knees on the sticky wax. "Welcome," the voice came from everywhere, "to the palace of the Diptera." Priya slowly raised her head. Before her, on a throne made of bone and chitin, sat another figure, larger than the monster that had kidnapped her, more majestic, more terrifying. The Queen of Flies, or what had once been the Queen of Flies. Now the throne was empty. No, not empty. There was a skeleton there, the giant skeleton of a humanoid insect, still sitting upright, a chitinous crown still encircling its skull. "She died 100 years ago," her captor spoke, his voice full of lamentation. "Without a queen, our colony is weakening. Larvae no longer hatch. Workers are disoriented. We need a new queen." Priya crawled back. "Why me? I'm human. I'm not." "You're different," the monster interrupted. It stepped closer, fixing Priya with its compound eyes. "Your pheromones. You radiate an aura that matches. Your genetics bear the imprint of them. The first creatures to bridge the insect and mammal worlds. You're the perfect choice." "No!" Priya screamed. "I don't want to! But her words were cut off as the monster spat something out of its mouth. A larva. A white larva the size of a fist, moving with unnatural movements. It emitted a faint green light. "This," the monster whispered softly, almost affectionately, "is the crown larva. It will fuse with you, transform you, and you will be our new queen." Priya tried to run, but suddenly hundreds of flies swarmed her, restraining her arms, her legs, her body. Their weight was crushing, their buzzing was deafening, and the larvae were placed on his chest. It felt like liquid fire being poured into her veins. Priya screamed until her vocal cords tore. The larva penetrated her skin without breaking, as if her body were water and the larva a sinking stone. She felt the creature moving inside her, crawling through her muscles, bones, and nerves. It entered her heart. Her chest exploded with pain. Her heart beat too fast, then too slow, then changed. Its rhythm was no longer human, faster, more efficient. Her bones shifted, cracked, rearranged. Priya felt her ribs lengthen, curve outward, forming a new structure. Her skin tightened, hardened, changing from golden brown to shiny black. His eyes, oh God, his eyes, felt like they were being shattered into 1,000 pieces. His vision exploded into a mosaic of color and movement. He could see in all directions at once. He could see a spectrum of light unheard of by human perception. His hair fell out. No, it didn't fall out. It transformed into long, sensitive antennae, tasting every molecule in the air. From his back, something tore out. Wings. Beautiful, transparent wings, bathed in phosphorescent light. They stretched wide, 5 meters from tip to tip, vibrating with incredible power. And then, the transformation slowed. Stopped. Priya fell to the floor, her breath coming in gasps. But it wasn't human breathing anymore. It was deeper, more controlled. The spiracles on her sides opened and closed, drawing oxygen directly into her system. She raised her hand and saw a hand that was no longer hers. Her fingers were elongated, coated in black chitin, ending in sharp claws. But there was still grace there, still a feminine form. She wasn't a monster like the one who had kidnapped her. She was something else, something higher. She stood slowly. Her body was tall, almost 2.5 meters now, but well proportioned, like a dark goddess from ancient mythology. Her chitinous skin glistened with intricate patterns like carved gold. Her face, still bearing a resemblance to the Priya of old, but refined. Her cheekbones were higher. Her eyes, though now compound, still retained their almond shape. She was beautiful, terrifying, but beautiful. Her captor knelt. All the flies in the room stopped moving. Their buzzing became a reverent whisper. "Our queen," they whispered in harmony. "Our queen has come." But inside her head, Priya was still conscious. Still human. "No," she screamed in her mind. "This isn't me. This isn't me." But her body moved on its own. Her feet stepped toward the throne. Her hand touched the old queen's bones, and instantly she knew. She felt memories that weren't hers. Hundreds of years of history. Colonies struggling to survive beneath the ever-expanding city above them. Wars against rat colonies. Pacts with cockroach colonies. And loneliness. The profound loneliness of a creature without equals. A crown was lifted from an old skull, a chitin crown inlaid with phosphorus stone, and placed on Priya's head. Perfect fit. Something inside his brain exploded. Suddenly, he could feel every fly in the colony. Millions of tiny minds connected to him like nerves to the brain. He was them. They were him. The colony was his larger body. Power flowed like an addiction. "No!" the human part screamed. "I'm Priya Kapoor. I have a family. I have dreams." But another voice, the Queen's voice, whispered louder. "You've always been this. You've always been us. Why do you think you're so drawn to us? Why have you spent your life studying us? Your blood calls. and now that call has been answered. Priya fell to her knees on the throne. Tears, could she still cry, flowed from her compound eyes, clear as crystal. "I don't want this," he whispered in what was now a chorus, but his wings spread, and the flies cheered. Days passed, or weeks. Priya, or the creature that used to be Priya, lost track of human time. She ruled. She had no choice. The queen's instincts were too strong. She sent workers out to find food. She laid eggs, hundreds of tiny, glistening eggs that would hatch into a new generation of soldiers and workers. She expanded the colony's territory into new tunnels beneath Manhattan. But on quiet nights, when the colony slept, his human side wept. He remembered his mother, her gentle face, the sound of the zither she played every afternoon. He remembered his father, always serious but full of love. He remembered his dreams, a PhD, research at the CDC, perhaps one day discovering a way to control insect vector-borne diseases. Now she was the vector herself. One night she ventured to the surface. Her wings carried her swiftly through the tunnels to the alley where she had been kidnapped. She perched on the roof, gazing at her apartment across the street. The lights were still on. There was police tape on the door. A missing poster with her face, her human face, was taped to the lamppost. Something in her chest ached. It was a foreign feeling. Queens shouldn't feel emotional pain. But she did. He was almost down, almost knocked on the door, almost trying to explain. "What would you say?" whispered the queen's voice. "What will they see? Not their daughter, not human, just monsters." Priya, the queen, retreats into the shadows. He flew back underground, to his dark palace, to his lonely throne. And for the first time, he hated what he had become. But then on the 37th night, when the queen had begun to accept her fate, something happened. An old man arrived, or rather, something that looked like an old man. He walked into the palace calmly, passing the guards unscathed. The flies let him pass, as if recognizing him. Priya, the queen, stared at him from her throne. "Who are you?" The old man smiled. His teeth were too sharp for a human. "I am the guardian," he said in a voice too resonant. "I chose you. From the moment you were born." The queen's world spun. What do you mean?" The guard stepped closer. "Your mother," he said slowly, "visited an ancient temple when she was pregnant with you. A forgotten temple. The temple of the insect goddess. She prayed for a clever daughter, a special one." He stopped at the foot of the throne. "Her prayers were answered. We implanted our essence into her womb. You are not a victim, Priya. You are a choice. You were always destined to be queen." The queen couldn't breathe. Had her entire life, her obsession with insects, her choice to study Diptera, even her decision to come to New York, all been orchestrated? "No," she whispered. "I have free will. I choose." "You chose what we implanted in you to choose," the guardian interrupted gently. "But that doesn't make your choice any less real. You're still Priya. You're just also more than that." She backed away slowly, disappearing into the shadows. "Enjoy your kingdom, our queen. You will rule until this city crumbles to dust." Now, years later, the queen sits on her throne. Her colony is growing. Millions become billions. Their tunnels stretch beneath all of New York City, a network invisible to the world above. Sometimes, on certain nights, the queen would fly to the surface. She perched on a skyscraper, gazing down at the glowing city. She stared down at the tiny humans who had no idea there was a kingdom beneath their feet. She no longer felt human, but she wasn't completely insect-like either. She was something in between, something new, something eternal. And when someone, a young student perhaps, or a curious researcher, heard a strange buzzing in the alley that night, when they smelled a sweet, putrid odor, when they saw a shadow too large for a common fly. They didn't know. They didn't know it was a greeting. Greetings from the Queen, the one who invites, the one who waits, because every colony needs a leader, and every queen eventually needs a successor. Maybe one day you'll hear that buzzing. Maybe you'll feel followed in a dark alley. Maybe you'll see a shadow with wings. And when that happens, remember Priya. Remember the beautiful girl from Mumbai who loved insects too deeply, who became what she loved. And from that night on, every time you hear the buzz of a fly in your ear, maybe it's just a greeting from the Queen, or maybe it's a calling. Somewhere deep beneath your feet, the hum continues.